Hello everyone and welcome back to Animation Pilgrimage, the show where Tennelle and myself take a look at every single theatrically released animated film in chronological order. And here we are in a new year of 1981.
Yes, it's looking so 80s in here.
Yes, it is. And it's also looking very purple because look at me! I'm an anteater!
So purple, so lovely. Now we are the true purple-orange dynamic.
Oh, it's so good.
Tasty.
It's very nice. Thank you for finally getting these done. I know they take you a while.
They do. They take quite a while, but I'm happy with them.
Here I am, and I look beautiful.
Well, of course you do.
Additionally, there is also a video to go along with this one for you to recommend shows, shorts, specials, and other things that we don't normally cover in Animation Pilgrimage for the year of 1981. There's a link in the description of this video. It also came out at the same time, so it's also in the same playlist. Go find that. You're
also purple.
Yes. Go over there and recommend us things to watch for 1981.
Anyway, today we start off 1981 by going back to the films of Soy's molten film in the USSR, Russia.
Soviet Union.
Soviet Union now.
It's been Soviet Union for a while.
Okay.
It is the Soviet Union right now. It doesn't change until the 90s.
Okay.
I actually went and looked at the history of what the country is known as.
Yes.
And I'm pretty sure in the 90s is when it changes
to the Soviet
Russia.
To Soviet Russia.
Or Russia. It has a really long name still, but right now it's the Soviet Union.
Okay.
In the 80s it is still the Soviet Union.
I will keep that in mind and try and remember that. Soviet Union, Soy's molten film, gives us Mystery of the Third Planet.
On a related note, Czechoslovakia also splits in the 90s.
Yes.
Into
Slovakia and the Czech Republic.
Yes.
See, I know that because I had a foreign exchange sister from Slovakia, not from the Czech Republic.
That's funny because I had one from the Czech Republic.
Ah.
Also an exchange student sister. So yeah, that's neat.
Yeah.
Specifically from Prague.
Oh, okay.
The capital city.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Anyways, that's not related to this movie at all because this is from the Soviet Union. Soyuz molten film. We haven't watched a Soyuz molten film that was made by them exclusively in quite a number of years.
Yeah, and I don't think it's due necessarily to any lack of activity from them. I think we just haven't been lucky enough to find them.
We either haven't found them or they've been doing a lot of shorts.
They've been stuff that's like too short for us to consider. And technically this one kind of breaks our rules again because
it's like half the length of what we normally cover for movies.
Right. I normally want, like, my gut instinct, and this is just because I'm from America and we have Hollywood, but my gut instinct is always like a movie has to be longer than an hour. But like, that's just not true.
Yeah.
But it is a helpful, like,
Cutting
stipulation to put on to the movies that we watch because it means that, like, it cuts out a lot of movies. It
cuts out at least 3 to 5 movies from Japan every single year going forward.
And God, do we need it.
Yeah, we don't need to watch that many 20 to 30 minute
movies.
Quote-unquote movies.
Right.
Theatrically released shorts, that's what they are.
Right.
But they consider them movies in Japan. And we don't. We just don't. We won't.
I mean, they can be movies if they want to be, but for the sake of my sanity for this project, I'm not going to call them a movie.
So those are other things you can recommend to us. If you really think one of those is worthwhile watching, we can watch it in the shorts and specials episode, but we're not watching it here.
Yeah. So anyway, this
is The Mystery of the Third Planet. Did we say the title of the movie?
Yeah, Mystery of the Third Planet. And it is 51 minutes long.
47 minutes. It's quite short.
Huh. Yeah. It really shouldn't make it onto our list, but this one is a cult classic. So we went ahead and we kept
watched
it on the list.
It would
and
feel
I'm glad
wrong.
we did because it was really good and I really enjoyed it. And I think other people should go out and watch it if you haven't yet. And that's my basic review of it.
Lovely
really,
animation.
Yeah.
Weird world. Simple plot. Very charming.
Yeah, it's got great character designs. Really nice character dynamics between the three leads. I could just see a million of these, of shorts done about these characters. And I wouldn't be surprised if, people really liked it. Because, you got your dad scientist, his daughter. He's like a botanist, I guess.
Do we want to do a plot synopsis?
Well, we will. And then there's like the cranky uncle who's super protective of the little girl too.
Is he the uncle?
I didn't know. I'm just calling him uncle because he radiates uncle energy. I like him.
Okay.
Anyway, do you want to do a plot synopsis?
I do.
All right.
I do want to do it. Because you stole the first part of my review out.
Oh.
Because my first line is a scientist, his daughter, and their pessimistic friend.
Co-worker, uncle, whatever.
Whoever he is.
The best character, my favorite.
Absolutely. He's just so pessimistic. No matter what happens, he's like,
this won't go well.
Yeah, this won't go well. They are sent off into space to find weird, quirky animals for the zoo. That's our plot. They're gonna go find animals for the zoo. And while they're setting out, they meet this weird alien guy who's got like 6 arms, and I really do not like this guy's eyes.
This is the one thing I do not care for about this film, is this weird robot clown thing. He's too big, very intimidating. He has very unsettling eyes. Not a great personality. Just overall, I do not like him.
I'm not a big fan of this guy, but he recommends going to a museum nearby about a pair of exploring guys. They apparently went to a lot of different planets. If you go there, you might be able to read the journal and find out about some cool animals to go find. And so they go there, and the director of the museum is a real shady guy, and he doesn't really want to give them the journal. And he's like, I don't go places. I don't travel. You gotta leave. And so they leave, and then I immediately see him do space travel. And they're like, wait a minute. So they follow him, and they end up on another planet where they're greeted by the locals, who are people with 3 ginormous ears. And they're like, this shady guy just showed up and killed all of our birds.
Yeah.
All the chatterbirds?
Chatterbirds.
Is that what they were called?
I think so.
And so they're like, oh, we're also following that guy. That sucks. So now they're on a double mission of finding out why this guy is killing all the birds and also picking up animals for the zoo. And in that second part,
along the way, they pick up a Wobbledog.
Yeah, they get a Wobbledog and a cow that can fly. But like, seriously, it looks like some of the monstrosities that you can create in the titular video game Wobbledogs. Not actually out of...
They somehow bred one without a head. I am amazed.
You've gotten close.
I've gotten close.
You've gotten close with dogs that have next to non-existent heads. This one still...
In case anyone's confused, go watch our Wobbledog stream. You'll have a time.
It's a time. Anyways, they also happen to follow the shady guy around and are told that he's not there anymore. And then somebody comes up to them and they're like, hey, I got this one. I heard you're taking animals for the zoo. Here's the last chatterbird. I have one. And the shady guy wanted me to hand it over to him, and I didn't.
Well, I protected the bird. Here, have it. And turns out the chatterbirds are kind of like parrots.
They'll just repeat things that they've heard.
Yeah.
As most parrots or other birds
I really love the design on this. Like, I love the design of all the character designs and just like the world designs. But the chatterbird's neat. It's a very like bird of paradise, but it does still have like this otherworldly kind of look to it. in general, I just kind of want to talk about how I really enjoy how surrealist the sci-fi worlds and planets they go to are in this film.
Mm-hmm.
However, I don't feel like they are just like nonsense for nonsense sake, which is something we've kind of criticized in the past. I feel like this is grounded enough that it makes its own kind of sense, but is also just kind of like kooky and strange.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like it. It's a nice balance for me, personally.
So this bird
Mm-hmm.
talks about going to the Medusa system or something. It tells them to go to a specific planet. And they're like, okay, we should go there. And then they find out that's the last location that the explorer guys went to, which was the owner of this particular bird. So now they're on another mission to find the two explorers that the museum was based on, which is probably why the curator of said museum is trying to shut the bird up for some reason.
Probably.
So they go there. There's a lot of adventures along, or like a few like sidestepping adventures. I save some robots from bad oil.
Yeah.
And other things like that. And they eventually make their way to the third planet in the Medusa system. The mystery of the third planet.
Whoa!
And they fall into a pit where there's a couple of people and one of them is the shady guy. And they're like, yeah, we're extorting the scientist explorer guy because he has like the perfect fuel or like never-ending fuel or something like that.
I will say the quote-unquote mystery, the plot of this film is one of its weaker elements. Not something I'm going to really fault it for, but it's got the same kind of like, ooh, it's a mystery vibe as like Scooby-Doo. You know, like, it's not a mystery per se. It's just it's an adventure where eventually we're going to find something out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're not really figuring anything out. We're going to stumble into the answer.
Yeah. Anyways,
because the plot deems it so.
They get there, they punch the bad guys a bit. There's
some cool action sequences in this.
Yeah. They meet the explorers, they save the day, they take the bird back, presumably to the zoo, and the movie ends.
Mm-hmm.
It's very, again, a very simple, straightforward plot of, oh, we got a hint, so we go over here, and then we get a hint, we go over there, and we get a hint, and we go to the last place, and then we punch some people, and we're done.
Mm-hmm.
But,
and
the animation's great.
The animation's great, the characters are great. And again, like I was saying, the worlds are very creative and grounded and yet strange and surreal. And I think that's probably why the plot being simple probably works to its benefit. Because if it was a little bit too mysterious, if it was a little too hoping that you were, putting the clues together, I think that would take away from you just being able to watch the visuals.
Mm-hmm.
And would make for a more confusing experience.
Yeah.
So I think the simple story really works for this film. I also want to say I really like the creative touches on some of the different elements that they run into, like the mirror flowers.
Oh yeah, that as they, if you pluck them and they slowly die, they play the scenes that they've seen backwards.
That's really cool.
As it slowly dies.
Yeah,
that's really
that's
neat.
a really neat concept.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said before, the Wobbledog is cute. The planet that was made completely out of robots, and then they find out the bad guys had put diamond dust into their oil, which is what was slowly killing them all. And they treat it as though it's this mass epidemic or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
There's just some really creative ideas in here that I really enjoyed.
Oh, yeah. And I really like the pessimistic friend. He's like the mechanic. He just tinkers with shit, and he's the one that ultimately saves the the robot epidemic and stuff. He's just like tinkering with things. Whenever he finds a robot and they like punch a couple of robots in the face, he's just there and he's pulling it apart and like...
Yeah, the characters are very consistent on what they can't, like what are their specialties and what aren't.
Oh, yeah. And like the little girl, she's just kind of like vibing and cool and like...
She's a little kid character that's
she'll
not
explore
annoying and she's not annoying. She's fun. You understand like why this dad brings her along because she's obviously also like very scientifically curious and inquisitive. And then like the relationship between the dad and the daughter is sweet. Like at the end, they're like, oh, you know,
the girl's like, I'm gonna go on adventures with the two explorer guys, and I guess we'll bring you two along. We could use a botanist.
Right. And the dad's like, oh, that's so sweet of you, honey. Thank you for not leaving me behind. Like, that's so, I just love it. That's cute.
I will say, because of the very simple plot and it honestly almost feels dreamlike, the movie as a whole. Yeah. Because of the surrealist elements. And there are, like, no stakes ever. I never feel... there was never a point in the movie where I felt suspense.
No. It's a very relaxing watch. It's a very relaxing watch. And I know that when you initially found the film and just, like, saw a brief glimpse of it and then knew we were going to be watching it, you were like, oh, it's kind of Yellow Submarine-esque.
Yes, it's which
I don't think is necessarily a fair comparison.
No. When I
saw of a first glance,
the visualization of it made me think the Soviet Union's doing space by way of
the Yellow Submarine. Yeah,
which visually is not wrong, but it's definitely better than the Yellow Submarine.
Well, and like I just don't think there's too much of a comparison between the films other than, you know,
like the 60s space aesthetic.
Yeah. I don't know. This was a lot of fun. I really liked this film. This was directed by Roman Chekhanov, who's done a lot of work with Soyuz Molten Film in the past.
Kachanov?
You
said Chekhanov. There is a K at the beginning of that name.
Well, Kachanov.
Yeah, you said Chekhanov.
Whatever.
I don't know how Russian is generally pronounced, but I know that's incorrect.
I'm trying. The comments are already gonna roast me. I don't need you to do it.
Too late.
And the story is also based on Alice's Travel by Kurbulichev.
Kurbulichev? Sure. I don't know. That's me throwing my hat out there. It's probably also wrong, though.
Production on this film took about 4 years, and it released on January 1st, 1981.
Really starting at the beginning of the year.
Yeah. Character designer was Natalia Orlovia, and then the U.S. released this film twice with an English dub. Once in 87, and then the other time was in the 1990s. But the 1991 is... not 1991. The 1990s one is generally criticized for cutting quite a bit of moments from the film and also redubbing the soundtrack. And I'm like, yeah, that would be a real shame because the soundtrack was pretty suited for the film. So I'm always not really a big fan when they redub the music in particular because music is such a... You don't need to redub music. Music is understood in every culture.
The only reason you would ever need to redo music in one of these movies is if the audio was all on one track when given it to dub in the first place. So like you didn't have the talking and the music separate, then you would have to redub it. And I think that's a reason a lot of times that these companies do.
Right. But if that's the case, then I would just have them like redo the music that's in the movie. Instead, a lot of times what they do is they're like, oh, we can't use that music? All right, well, let's hire a bunch of people to make up new music for it. And it's like, why? The work's already done for you. The sheet music's got to be out there somewhere.
We got to make new
someone
music.
Who can, like, read it. Like
new music that's hip
just
and
from-
popular. We don't want 80s music in this movie that we're releasing in the 90s.
How shame, how dare. But yeah. That's pretty much it. I definitely recommend this one for people to check out.
Absolutely.
This was fun. It's not very long. It's got great character designs, great character dynamics, a simple but fun plot.
Yeah. I think it's worthwhile.
Mm-hmm.
So, join us back here next time as we jump into the second movie of 1981, American Pop, from Ralph Bakshi and Columbia Pictures of the USA.
You know, at least we started on a positive note.
Who knows? Maybe we'll like it. We liked Ralph Bakshi's last movie, The Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe after Lord of the Rings, we'll have a more positive opinion on Ralph Bakshi's work. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
See you then and find out.
Yeah.